The story of David and Goliath is found in the biblical book of 1 Samuel 17. It describes a significant conflict between the Israelites and the Philistines during the 11th century BCE. The challenge of the giant. The two armies were positioned on opposite hills with the valley of Elah between them. Every day, for 40 days, a Philistine champion named Goliath the giant, standing over 9 feet tall, stepped forward to mock the Israelites and their God. Clad in heavy bronze armor and carrying a massive spear, he challenged the Israelites to send a warrior to face him in single combat, with the loser's nation becoming subjects to the winner. King Saul and his soldiers were paralyzed with fear and refused to fight. David's arrival. David, the youngest of Jesse's sons and a shepherd boy, was sent to the battlefield to bring food to his older brothers. Hearing Goliath's taunts, David was outraged that anyone would defy the armies of the living God. Despite his brother's anger and King Saul's initial skepticism due to David's youth and lack of experience, David volunteered to fight. He told Saul that the same Lord who had protected him while he defended his sheep from lions and bears would deliver him from the giant. The unconventional battle. Saul offered David his own royal armor, but David found it too heavy and unfamiliar, choosing instead to fight without it. He went to a nearby stream and collected 5 smooth stones, putting them in his shepherd's bag. Armed only with his staff and a simple sling, David approached the giant. Goliath laughed at David, viewing him as a joke, but David declared, preparing for battle despite his youth and lack of military training. David volunteered to fight the giant. The credentials. David persuaded King Saul by recounting how he had killed both lions and bears with his bare hands to protect his father as sheep. The rejection of armor. Saul offered David his own bronze armor and helmet, but David found them too heavy and unfamiliar. The simple weapons. David chose to face Goliath with only his staff, 5 smooth stones from a nearby brook, and his sling. The confrontation. When Goliath saw David, he ridiculed him for being a mere boy with sticks. David responded by declaring that while Goliath came with sword, spear, and javelin, David came in the name of the Lord Almighty. The strike. As Goliath moved to attack, David ran toward him and slung a stone with deadly accuracy. The fall. The stone sank into Goliath's forehead, and he fell face down on the ground. The victory. David stood over the fallen giant, drew Goliath's own sword, and used it to cut off his head. The aftermath. Seeing their champion dead, the Philistine army fled in panic. The Israelites pursued them as far as Gath and Ekron, achieving a decisive victory. David eventually brought Goliath's head to Jerusalem and placed the giant's armor in his own tent.